The Iran Memorandum of Understanding. Vice President Vance takes the lead in explaining what it is and what it isn't. Tulsi Gabbard takes one last shot at Dr. Fauci on her way out the door. And we end the week with a whole lot of winning. Good news to wrap up this week, Friday, June 19th. You're watching news and commentary from America's Heartland. You're watching Heartlander News. Welcome into Heartlander News. My name's Chris Stigall. Be sure to keep up to date with all the latest headlines at heartlandernews.com. We begin with the deadly deception of Dr. Fauci, a name we haven't discussed a lot in a long while, and not many of us miss him, but many of us still remember the damage he wrought and the injustice of his tenure, and many people still clamoring for justice. As the Director of National Intelligence, Tulsi Gabbard, walks out the door for her last day of service, her focus was on that very man, Dr. Fauci. Here's some of it.
Before the COVID pandemic, Dr. Fauci, as head of the National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Diseases, provided millions in U.S. taxpayer dollars to fund dangerous gain-of-function research on bat coronaviruses at the Wuhan Institute of Virology, work which is now widely viewed as the source of the unintentional lab leak that sparked the pandemic. Now, in support of President Trump's maximum transparency mandate, today, on my final day as Director of National Intelligence, I'm releasing never-before-seen communications and documents that expose exactly how Fauci worked with politicized career leadership in the intelligence community to suppress the truth about his actions, the virus's lab leak origins, and his role in directing U.S. funding for this dangerous research that caused immeasurable harm and countless lost lives. Now, these documents expose Fauci's direct role in influencing and manipulating IC assessments on COVID-19 and how Fauci lied to Congress in 2024 when, under oath, he denied knowledge of or participation in discussions with intelligence officials about viral research. We also received testimony from multiple intelligence community whistleblowers who reported retaliation for challenging the intelligence community's manipulation of intelligence on the virus's origins, once again revealing a clear pattern of suppressing dissent, silencing critics, and burying the truth.
Okay, that's good.
Dr. Fauci's close relationships with the intelligence community.
This is a big deal. Tulsi Gabbard's final act as Director of National Intelligence, delivering a bombshell. This release of never-before-seen documents and communications exposes, as you just heard, directly how Dr. Fauci directed millions in U.S. tax dollars, your money, to fund this Frankenstein monster experiment called gain-of-function research on bat coronaviruses at the Wuhan Institute of Virology. The work is now widely viewed as the source of an unintentional lab leak that unleashed SARS-CoV-2 on the world. This evidence strongly suggests that Fauci helped fund the creation of that virus that was engineered in a lab. He then worked with politicized elements inside Intel to suppress the truth about its origins. And as she said, lied to Congress about it when asked in 2024 under oath. When asked about discussions with intelligence officials concerning viral research, Fauci falsely claimed he had no knowledge of it. Millions died worldwide from this virus. Billions more were essentially forced through mandates, job losses, travel restrictions, social coercion, forced into experimental shots, marketed as the only way out. Even then, the public was not fully informed about potential side effects of shots developed to combat this supposed pathogen that Fauci's own programs inevitably helped enable. Lives were shattered by illness, isolation, lost loved ones. Economies collapsed under lockdowns, all justified by narratives that he helped shape. This is not just incompetence, ladies and gentlemen. This is one of the worst scandals in human history. Families were destroyed. Businesses were ruined. Our trust in institutions obliterated. all while the architect of this catastrophe received a preemptive pardon from President Biden to shield him from accountability. And you'll remember that even James Comey himself said, if you accept a pardon, you're accepting guilt. Tulsi Gabbard's documents lay bare the cover-up. The American people deserve justice, not protection for those who may have funded and then lied about the very crisis that upended civilization as we know it. That pardon now, from Joe Biden to Dr. Fauci, it only confirms how deep this rot really runs. Meanwhile, JD Vance this week took to the White House podium to explain the Iran Memorandum of Understanding. We'll start with number 300 here today, Aaron, as he swats away and defines what this is and what it isn't.
Some progressive criticisms of me personally saying, what experience does the Vice President of the United States have with hostile, high-stakes negotiations? And I would point those progressive critics to the fact that just 2 days ago, I spent over an hour on The View. So I actually have great experience in very hostile negotiations, and I've used that. I mean, look, Joy Behar is way tougher than the Iranians, and she and I are best friends now. So we're going to get to a good place here. We're going to get to a good place. We're already at a good place. It's just a question of whether we can really get the icing on the top of fundamentally transforming Iran's relationship with the world. I have seen.
Right. And he goes on to talk specifically about Israel. And this is interesting, too, that there's some critics in Israel. And by the way, there's some war hawks inside Washington, D.C., ironically, interestingly. It's a strange phenomenon, actually. I read somebody's commentary that said it's the war hawk that's actually helping the Trump administration look like they're bringing something to a close that they were originally attacked for starting. Unbelievably, here we are as the president tries to draw down this conflict and get this memorandum of understanding going. There are some, I guess, in the Israeli parliament that are criticizing Trump for not finishing the job. JD Vance minced no words on that criticism.
Completion. Now, I saw the Axios report, that Netanyahu is fuming. That's not reflective of the conversations that I've had with him, but maybe he's saying something to somebody else that he's not saying to me. What I will say, and this does bother me, is that you've seen people within Bibi's cabinet who have come out and attacked the deal, and in some ways very personally attacked the president of the United States. And I guess my message to them would be twofold. Number one, Donald J. Trump is the only head of state in the entire world who is sympathetic to the nation of Israel at this moment in time. And he happens to be the head of state of the world's superpower. If I was in the cabinet of the Israeli government, I might not be attacking the only powerful ally that I have anywhere left in the entire world. And the second message I would give to some of those cabinet members, Bibi, to his credit, has not gone down this path, but to some of these cabinet members in Israel who are attacking the president of the United States, the other thing that I would say is that over the last 3 months, 2/3 of the defensive weapons that have protected your homeland have been built by American hands and paid for by American tax dollars. The problem for Israel is not Donald J. Trump. And anybody in Israel who thinks their biggest problem is the president of the United States needs to wake up and smell the reality of the situation that country is in. Thank you all.
So Vice President Vance dropping some truth hammers as he heads out the door, taking the White House podium. Meanwhile, gas prices have fallen below $4 this week for the first time since March, bringing consumers some relief, writes NBC News, after more than 3 months of elevated prices as a result of the Iran war. Even Harry Enton, the vaudevillian over at CNN, had to admit his surprise. Things don't suck as much as they were really hoping they would suck. Number 304 here. Here's the vaudevillian having to admit things are improving. Damn it.
Gas prices are now below $4 a gallon here. What are the prediction markets saying they will be in the future?
Yeah, if he's not going to be the next Joe Biden, this is the helpful sign for him, right? Chance gas prices this year rise above $5 a gallon. You know, you go back about a month ago, it was a 74% chance according to the cash prediction markets. Now it's just a 22% chance. This is the type of stuff that Donald Trump needs to avoid being a new Joe Biden.
Gas prices.
This is the kind of stuff that needs to happen for Donald Trump to not be the next Joe Biden. I think, Harry, it might be a couple more differences just besides the gas prices, but okay, fine.